good to connect once again, Adrian. Let's talk about your season with the San Antonio Scorpions. Unfortunately, Adrian, a tough loss against that real strong team, Minnesota United. Talk about it in front of an outstanding crowd you had on home field the other night.
Oh yeah, the crowd in San Antonio here is incredible. You know, the capacities, the amount of supporters that are coming out on a game-to-game basis are increasing steadily. So that's a good sign. Unfortunately, we didn't get the results we were looking for. You know, because Minnesota played. They're very well orchestrated, really structured team, and they play their role quite well.
Adrian, let's talk about this NASL league. Let's talk about the competition. As I said to our listeners out there, you've played in MLS, you've played in Europe. Compare the NASL, Adrian, for our listeners out there to, a second, third tier in Europe, or how would you rate them with MLS?
Yeah, but comparing them to like an MLS standards, I think there's some teams within the NASL that can compete on an MLS level. You know, depending on what team you're referring to, but you know, it's pretty similar with regards to like caliber of players and you know the things that are lacking. You know, financial budget, but other than that, you know, if it moves up, more sponsors, more publicity, more marketing, and I think the league will do quite well.
You know, Adrian, I got to say, San Antonio has been one of the best, if not the best market in NASL. A gorgeous stadium, outstanding fan support, 8,000 plus almost every home game. And you know that MLS is looking at this possibly to expand there. And then you look at Minnesota, Carolina, and maybe I would even say this year Ottawa coming in are some of the most solid franchises in NASL.
Oh, yes, I would agree on that, especially like with the rivalries. There's surrounding cities, referring to San Antonio, there's Houston as well as Dallas that are rivalries that would bring in more fans and more competitiveness amongst the Texans. So I think it'll be great for not only, you know, the United States as well as Canada to maybe have more teams join the MLS.
Adrian, you're down here in the state of Texas. You know Ontario quite well. I think Ontario compares to the state of Texas. Here you got, a couple pro teams in MLS with Houston and FC Dallas. You got the San Antonio Scorpions in the NASL. The youth programs there are outstanding. Talk about it and compare it with Ontario, Adrian.
Yeah, you know, I think the way they structure things here, it's pretty straightforward. It's regimented, you know. So what they're trying to do is build up the academy teams, the youth level teams, to the point where they're doing the exact same things as the senior level players. So when they do decide to bring the youth players up to the senior level, the pro level, it's an easier transition. You know, they can fit in quite well. Other than the physical stature of the players, which will come in time, they'll adapt that much quicker.
You know, Adrian, you've got a tough travel schedule in NASL where you got a couple teams out west there, like Edmonton, Adrian, like Minnesota, and then you also have, a lot on the eastern side. Are you finding the travel a little difficult?
No, not necessarily. You know, it's once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. At first, it was quite hard, but now that I'm getting used to it, it's all right.
What are some of the things, Adrian, you've enjoyed with your stay here at San Antonio? Has it been the fan support? Has it been the wonderful facility you got? Is it a community feeling with this club? What have you enjoyed?
Well, yeah, in San Antonio here, the setup's really great. You know, starting from the coaching staff as well as management, and the players. Great group of guys. You know, they leave everything on the field. They work hard day in and day out, and I think it's important. It's a good sense of community, and like there's so much potential here. You know, especially progressing the club into the next level. Hopefully, you reach the MLS stage. You know, the stadium itself speaks for itself, and there's a lot of plans expanding the stadium, and it's good not only for like the senior level players as well as the community, but also the youth, because it gives them something to strive for. You know,
Adrian, you're one of the leaders in the back there for San Antonio, and then you look up front, there's a scoring machine in Zahorsky on your squad. Talk about this young man, how great a season he's had.
Oh yeah, Thomas is a great player. He's very hungry. Any ball that comes across, he'll put it away. It's just give him a couple opportunities and he'll make the most of it. He's similar to like a Diego Costa, where he's always eager to kind of like pinch a ball and just put it in the back of the net. So, he's really talented. He's really good.
Talk about the New York Cosmos a bit, Adrian, that world-famous club coming back to the NASL. And we all remember the days of Pele, Giorgio Canali, and Beckenbauer. Now they're trying to make new memories coming back into the NASL. How special was that for you to play against the Cosmos in New York?
Yeah, New York Cosmos is great because I know growing up I used to watch maybe highlights back then about Pele and all the greats that played there. But it's great playing against the Cosmos just because of that. They got a good sense of history, and like to bring that back to this day and age, I think it's great.
Adrian, let's talk about obviously the two Canadian franchises, the Ottawa Fury, FC Edmonton, who have been in there a number of years. It's great to have a couple Canadian franchises to give the Canadian kids an opportunity like both squads have given. How good is that, knowing that these Canadian squads are giving opportunities to Canadian kids?
I think it's so important, man. I think it's wonderful just because, players that are domestic, that are coming from Canada, the more teams that we have, the more opportunities they have to play professionally. And what we want to do is create a foundation where the youth are, dispatched amongst all these professional Canadian teams, so we can build not only like our players, but also a great national team.
Adrian, let me ask you this. A lot of young Canadian guys, when they get to the age of maybe 19 or 20, unfortunately aren't ready for MLS or don't get drafted, and they decide to make their way over to Scandinavia, to play in Finland, to play in Norway, possibly Sweden. You went to play over in that part of the world as well. Would you recommend that they consider the NASL first over Europe, or would you say go to Europe and then make your way back here?
Yeah, what I would suggest is, maybe make a step, take the initial step, play in the NASL, see how you adapt to it. If you take off quite well and you adapt fairly quickly, maybe move up go overseas to Europe, play in the Scandinavian countries, or maybe make your way to the MLS. I think first and foremost, it would be crucial to maybe take a step into the NASL to see whether or not you can adapt to the quickness of the game, and if so, then I think you can progress.